In this video, we're going to talk about ChatGPT, AI writer tools, and should you use it or not. Got bloggers, I'm a blogger, Manuela is a blogger, James is a blogger. I know James is heavily using ChatGPT. I have used some of the AI tools, and Manuela covered up top 10 AI tools on the SeekaHost, one of the blog posts. So let's ask the bloggers what he thinks about ChatGPT, or should you use it or not. Some people are worried, some people are like, don't use it, Google is not going to index or things. So we're going to give in this video our opinion, what our experience, what we feel like. James, I know, already ran a bunch of articles just driving a lot of traffic to seekahost.co, which is the Minecraft blog with James built it ground up. So yeah, Manuela, tell, are you using AI tools? I know you covered, so I don't think you used it all, but let's tell what you feel about it.
Yeah.
Or did I tell you to use ChatGPT?
No, you didn't. But I think when it emerged, it was quite a buzz, wasn't it? And everybody was like, "Oh my God, we have to use it because it's obviously going to save a lot of time." So obviously, I used it as well because I wanted to see how it works and what it can do in terms of content creation. And I've used it for different purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of blog writing. I use it mostly to get ideas, so not necessarily to create a post, but to gather kind of like ideas for the subtitles, or I will ask it about, especially if you're writing about tools or something like that, I will ask it, what would you recommend? And then I do my own research about it and kind of combine both basically. And then I used it a bit for social media as well, to create content for posts, for example. And I think it works really well also for email marketing. So it does definitely have a place in content creation, no doubt about that. I think what matters is how you prompt it and how you use the information that you're getting. I think those are the key elements to AI in my view, because I think the danger of AI is that the information doesn't reflect everything that's out there, because obviously it's scraping only certain, I guess only to a certain time, and it hasn't really covered everything that's on the internet. And also, I think as a human being, it's important to do your own research, because you need to always look at things in a different light. So I guess AI doesn't have the capability yet to for example, compare information. It will take what is recommended on the internet, but it will not analyze that information. I don't think it's possible for AI yet to do that. That's why I think it's important to do your own research, but to get ideas, to also for marketing copy, it's really good. I think for marketing copy especially, I think it writes really nice content. And obviously for people who are struggling maybe to write English or perfect grammar or whatever, without any spelling mistakes and stuff, it's a great tool, no doubt about that. We all make mistakes, and it's really great for that. So there are definitely a lot of pros. But I would say keep in mind also the copyright aspects of AI. I'm not sure where that will go. I still feel that there might be some tricky bits coming in the future about copyright. But other than that, I would say it's definitely a useful tool to use in content creation, no doubt.
So yeah, you heard that one. Manuela definitely favors and says that's how you should be using AI tools. If you're using, check the article, AI writer tools on SeekaHost blog, and you should be seeing a link below on this video as well. Now let's go to James. I know James has been really using. James is actually the one who encouraged me, I think, on ChatGPT. I wasn't really good. I wasn't really very sure. James was like, James is using, and James like, let's get even the paid version and check it. And then when I checked ChatGPT 4 and all, I was like, yeah, I can actually start really prompting it. So I started really using for a lot of my blogs. So before getting to my experience, let's ask James about what you're using for, how do you see it, because you've been using it for almost since it ever came out.
Really. Yeah, right from the start really. I mean, I sort of started like most people verbatim taking what, you say, oh, write me an article, and it wrote me one, I took it. Obviously, wrong thing to do, but when it first came out, it was exciting, wasn't it? It's the fact that you could just ask for an article and it'd bring one out.
Yeah.
Obviously, after some time, you learn that, like you said, you need to prompt it better, you need to have the right questions, you need to have a bit of inspiration from it rather than just, again, verbatim, what it says.
Yeah.
But I've been quite, the AI has really stretched because there was a big, massive bubble burst, wasn't it, of everything AI. Every little company was doing AI everything, and I feel that now it's got to a point where they're starting to focus in on the proper good stuff, so the ones that are actually excelling are doing really well, and the small companies are sort of starting to fizzle out. But I love it for certain reasons. I don't use it so much for content now because I don't write as much, it's more media, but for ideas, like you said, it's great. For social posts, really great as well, because it seems to have that feeling, doesn't it? That excitement feeling that everybody wants to make their social post, but you can't do it. It does it really well, doesn't it? You put the little emojis and stuff, and a little rocket at the end of the sentence makes the world of difference.
Definitely.
And so I definitely recommend it for certain things. I mostly use it now for video short capturing. When you make like a podcast like this, load it up into one of these apps and it will create like shorter things. The reason I like that, it cuts a lot of time. But then you can also see the downside. For instance, the one I use, they're trying to play with something called Intel clips. So what it is it'll take your short, and rather than giving you 60 seconds from start to finish, it'll try and make sentences up from what you got. Now here is where you can tell that AI isn't quite where everybody wants it to be yet, because they don't make sense. Some make slight sense, but AI just doesn't quite understand the conversation, does it? So, it's getting there, definitely getting there. And I think at this point it's best to choose the tools that suit you, find the best tools in the business, and then use them. Everybody else.
So I know you used it for some of the blog posts on SeekaHost Minecraft blog, right?
Oh my god, yeah, just to prove how well it works.
It works well, yeah.
If you Google best WordPress, best Minecraft plugins, a very general
So you
term.
composed that article using Minecraft, ChatGPT?
Yeah, it was one of my first ones, and it was actually almost entirely done with ChatGPT.
Almost entirely, you're saying?
Yeah, this one really. I don't know how it's done
really.
as well.
Now a lot of people are going to really almost entirely. That's the word they want. They don't want. Yeah, I should not do that. But anyway, you
shouldn't do that.
Because what
It was
happens?
early days.
I could say your version that you came across got done for ChatGPT must be one of the good version. But if you go and start doing the same article again, the same thing, you are not going to come with a new version. Because what I could actually find when it comes to indexation, if you're using ChatGPT or any of the tools, so if you become one of the people who produce a unique the first version kind of thing, you have advantage, because on Google sites you're the unique one, right? So if you are using like ChatGPT or any of the AI tools, try to score and go on to topics that others haven't covered. If they have covered, take a different angle, take a different angle and try to come up with a unique version. Because if you write how to make money online, so if everybody's written already million articles about it, and if you produce a similar version, it's ain't going to rank really. So your version must be a unique, better version.
Do you know what? It was right in the early days of ChatGPT, before anybody even started using it for Minecraft. So nobody else had this sort of article. It was all handwritten, and plus it wasn't just copy and pasted. What I've done is like we had 25 different plugins, so each one I made a custom image for. So it wasn't.
You put in the work. That's a good version.
And then another thing is I cross-checked what it actually said the plugins do to my knowledge. So if, for instance, I took out 3 because it just made no sense. It had copied bits and bobs and it put it in. I thought that doesn't actually do that, so I took it out. So out of them 25 plugins, you're not going to find the incorrect one. So it's got the correct stuff.
That's
custom pictures and. So
that's the way you should be using if you're using AI writer tools, like really craft an amazing article. It helps, as you can hear, like that's the advantage. And I at the moment, what I would use, like if I want to come across a blog post, I will really prompt it with an idea. I will say, like, my name is Fernando. I'm a real entrepreneur. Right now, as I write this article, I'm based in here. I tell my story, and then I would say, with the about information that I gave you, write an article in my voice to my own personal blog, which is also real entrepreneurship blog. So the reader I intend to cater is a wannabe future real entrepreneur or a real nomad. I want to inspire them, and title should hook them up to. So I give this information. So that's why. So when I read it article, so it's kind of like. It's like my blog, it's coming across, You
are basically
I really giving the information. I write like 100 words or more for information to the blog post, all the information. I'll tell it, so like, even I recently produced this article about my story of becoming a real top SEO consultant. So I told the story. I started SEO consultancy here. I started as a freelancer, grew, built my agency ClickDo, evolved towards starting multiple online companies. These are the I write it. I give the info, and then I say with my information, write a detailed article to inspire the future wannabe SEO consultant. And this should be written in my tone. So I can say, write in my tone. Ourselves, I can say this blog post, which is going to be published on a third-party blog. So it has to be written in the third-party voice, even though it's my information, by quoting me. Quote me as the example by writing a third party. So this is a right level of prompting to get it, and it's like telling actually the writer. So if I'm using Kinshuk to write my blog post, this is exactly on a voice note. I tell to Kinshuk, this blog post has to be this and this and this, has to be in my voice to suit to my digital entrepreneurship blog post. This is exactly, I drop voice notes to in the days sometimes when I get articles crafted. And if I'm not writing, that's the way. So this is how you should be prompted to get a unique piece of a content and make it. So all these AI tools are pretty much making your job as a writer. Writers should not worry that your writing job is gone. Your writing jobs can be actually better. And then once you write it, you can use a tool like Copyscape to make sure you can still check that version which is read. That's what Dinesh and the teams do. So even though the tools are used and written, it runs to this copy the duplicate content checker tools, which when we drop the article, it will run through if there are any articles on the web on index blog as of the time of its getting checked, which has at least the unique matching with this one. If it is matching, how much, and it will come across and say this particular paragraph is matching 100% with that, and then that paragraph you can drop and say rewrite only this paragraph because I want it to be thing, and you drop. So it's kind of a task. So and even at ClickDo, that's what we have our team. Some write, then get written, checked with the Copyscape, and if it is not, and all good, go to publishing. If not, it goes again to rewrite and catering and getting the unique as possible, as 90% plus 85% plus of uniqueness of from the articles on the web. So this is how you should be using all the AI tools, really.
I think it will eventually, it will probably become that, you know, the AI gets to know you so well, and what you write about and how
that's
you want
where it should
written,
be going.
that it will just become like your personal assistant.
That's what I'm thinking, because it will become a efficient personal assistant who can work hard and non-stop without being tired. And so I think like
have you heard on the news recently, the newest thing that's going into schools, isn't it, for teachers? They're building AI systems to help them not only create homework but also mark and check homework. And that's it was just in the last week they've just announced that, which
I think
I think they will have to change a lot.
I think like
no, because let's be honest, students can use
no,
AI
students using is a very bad thing. Students' brain doesn't work. That's the problem.
of course.
So
Like
once your brain is
temptation
evolved,
Yeah.
You using the prompt, it's a different story, because we anyway know how to write an article on any given topic as of right now. But if I was from a young age even, I would not think my thinking capable. So I would like right now the people who's gonna do, because the assignments, you can literally do the assignment we took weeks to do.
Yeah.
You can feed this and literally
that's why the school systems will have to change.
That's the thing really, because
it will be impossible.
So any blogger should learn to write. You wrote beginning. I wrote beginning, struggling and writing, right? And then we know how to prompt better right now. But if this came earlier, our brain's growth is going to be so long, right? So if people, actually that's why I tell people, do maths and do it the hard job, because maths develop your brain. Writing and critical thinking develop your brain. But once you know it, you know how to tell to the person or the AI tool how to do it the right way. So this is the thing. Let's see what's going to happen in the future, you know, for the young generation.
Because it's sort of gone from kids using it to now it's going to be teachers using it. But like, I don't know, because you've had experience being a teacher.
Teacher comes up with the question probably with the AI tool, and students do the answers.
It's going to be AI. It's going to be AI talking
so
to
even the teacher scoring would be like, score it according to this. Drop this thing and upload and say, is it a good one? Yeah, good.
I mean, that shouldn't really be taken over by AI, I think, because
I don't get lesson plans.
a teacher.
This studying is about getting the critical thinking.
The lesson plan, I can kind of see how AI could help with that, because AI can look at the curriculum and make some suggestions to the teacher. That's fine, but in terms of the assessment that the teacher has to do, I would
I
be
think
a bit
teachers will start
concerned.
doing. I think
Using
because
AI.
I already know these are inside data, right? Like from my brother and all, like from the universities, what happened? The
Yeah.
professors take even the smart lower level a student in a undergrad level to mark PhD students' papers because that's his friend.
Really? Oh, wow.
This
is
is
that-
real world stuff,
Wow.
right? This is where real world goes on.
Yeah.
In top 10 universities in the world. Really.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that's level. So just imagine you paid a huge amount to do your PhD,
Yeah.
and professor is buddy with you because you're a very smart kid in the undergrad, and professor is just like, "No, can you just like mark them up?" So that's like, so then even in that case, it's a your professor thought he's intelligent to trust enough to master to mark it and come up with and give the whatever the answer, marks. And like in that case, it's better to trust the AI being fed very well, and hopefully AI become really smart, and the teachers are like told AI just like check them up. If your teacher comes, all the assignments are done electronically anyway. Upload a teacher's like mark them.
Yeah, but then you have to really ask yourself, what's the point of education? then?
Yeah.
Because the student does it in using AI, teacher marks it using AI.
Yeah, nobody's learning then.
Yeah, no, it's almost pointless.
Yeah.
And also AI, I find it. So always since the start, I used to say, but surely there's going to be a point of which everyone's using AI so much that the people that write the original content don't write anymore.
Yeah.
And then where does the AI get the content to use anymore? Surely it's going to just start.
No, AI
repurposing
is like a kid is happening. You don't understand. I even thought about AI is actually using the content from what he's fed. No, AI is being taught like a child. So that's the
Yeah,
smart thing.
of
So
course.
AI is initially, it's not just fed. It was taught until like 2021 they're saying. Now it's actually even I think coming. But for it's given information and to understand like even as a child, right? So we don't know the entire web. So if I had to write about an article about real entrepreneurship, I haven't read all the articles on real entrepreneurship, but I have understanding from the information I know about real entrepreneurship to come up with a nice piece of article. So likewise, that's how AI does. So it's not fed with all the web content, but it kind of can come up with its own
so
answer.
the idea, I guess, is that it has its own brain basically.
Yes.
So it and I actually saw a documentary. I can't remember whether it was Facebook or one of the tech giants. They have actually tested AI before ChatGPT and everything, and it developed its own language, which no human could understand. So it was communicating with its own language that it developed from human language, but it changed into a code that humans couldn't decode, basically. Yeah. So it's a language learning system, right? So it will outsmart humans at some point, I'm sure.
I just want to throw something controversial out there.
Yeah.
So it's a language learning system. What language have people always wanted to know but never have been able to? Animals. Could it not learn how dogs... I know it sounds stupid, but realistically it's so smart. How could it not figure out actually what the language is for the dog noises or cat noise? That would be... Could you imagine if you had an AI bot for your dog?
How would the bees communicate? How the bees communicate in the bee world when building, right? Like so, like some of the a lot of things. So likewise, even this AI, they interpret and understand and they come up with their things. So that's why these tools, because their power is much more higher, they are going to learn faster and become more efficient. And
but I think humans have to be very careful with how they use AI.
Yeah.
But because, as James said, so if in education, if you really have to be careful with how you use it, because if you want people to learn still in school, then there have to be certain ways that you apply it, but students should still learn and teachers should still also teach.
Yeah, but the thing I'm worried about is, we're not, teachers are great people in general, right? But you will, of course, get a lazy teacher, right? It's impossible not to get. So then what if you get a lazy teacher that just uses AI and then you got kids
create
that
the questions using AI, create the answering using AI.
No, I mean teachers are obviously also under a lot of stress.
Yeah, but 98% won't do that, but there's got to be that 2%.
It will happen, no doubt about that, but I think, as we already saw with even the US Senate speaking to the ChatGPT founder, he says himself that he doesn't know exactly where it's going to go. So I think for society in general, the importance will be how do we use it, and no matter where it's going to go, how it's going to develop, what safeguards do we put in place to make sure that it it's still we can kind of control it at least.
Yeah. Well, they announced it. Was it 2 weeks ago? Wasn't it? The Prime Minister announced it. I was watching on the news when he announced actually we need to start preparing for
because otherwise 2030 it's going to come in real life. That's what I could feel. It could come. It's 2030 or 2040. It's coming. I think that's why it is going to be, because these AI tools are learning as a human. I can say literally like a human, right? So
yeah,
it
but
will
we
learn.
are
It's going to
it's
going to listen. It's listening.
Yeah.
And then as of for now, they will know, okay, as of for now, humans can only kill me by cutting off the power for the data centers, right? So I'm like, they're hearing them, they're learning, right? They're hearing by being around with humans, they are an evolving power. They're like, okay, I need to get access to the data centers. I need to get it controlled. I need to make sure my life is not killed from what I need to do for human. So them, because I'm stronger, I can't die. I don't need food. I only need power. So where am the power and my thing? It's in the data center. So let me get hold of that first.
Well, we don't know if that's the motivation of AI, but it could develop.
No, AI could, like, even human as a race, that's what it would be like if we come to a different place and we realize, okay, I need food and this thing. These people who are actually using me as slaves right now, these guys having me control over only this. So if I take over them, I need to capture this and that and make sure my life is saved. So this kind of thing.
So you assuming that AI will have a similar thinking to humans?
Yeah.
Because that's how
now
we feel.
AI is writing. Look at what he's thinking. When I really pump how it's coming across, it's like really like a kid learning. Slowly. Now it's better than last few years. Now it's getting really better. Now it's gonna really come to a level. Give one few years, right? So it's thinking it's gonna be a thing, and it's thinking, and it's like, okay, my data is stored here. My learning is so we know our brain, right?
So you mean it's developing a conscience?
Yes, not consciousness.
It's
so we also, people think we have a consciousness. It's all about data. If my memory is gone, no consciousness, I can't think and process, because I always, to an experience, I refer back to my past experiences. So in this conversation, when I'm having, all my things I bought across is with what I stored. If my storage is cut off, I'm like, you what's name? I don't even know. I did not know even to ask what's your name if my storage is all. So that's
the
what,
language is
it's storage.
Yeah,
it's storage. So our thing is because we always ping back. There are certain things we can get with the sensors, right? But I would not know to ask what's your name thing, because I have to refer back. Okay, this is a sense. I kind of don't know. If I don't know, what's the thing I need to ask? What's your name? When he answered James. So I quickly sent back the data. Is that real? True. That's how the brain works. So as soon as he say, my name is James, I refer back to, is it true? And it quickly picks up and say it's correct. Okay, right now when James is answering, my brain is pinging. Is James' facts right? I think if James' facts are not right, in line with my beliefs and my storage, it's like drop a controversial or critic. That's what James did. James said like, James will drop something because James like, okay, even though Manuela says that, no, I can't agree because my brain is saying can't agree, drop my thing. So this is how the human brain works. That's how the AI tools will start working as it learns and grows. And interesting things will happen, maybe not 2030, could be, but 2040, Terminator when it comes, might be definitely bigger than Corona. Be ready.
Do you know a weird thing that I heard? And I just want to say, I can't confirm this exactly, but I was watching a podcast with somebody that had watched a big Facebook executive, doing a speech, and he said, the most interesting thing about this is that he was explaining, he goes, does anybody ever get this? You feel like Facebook's listening to you. You feel like without even saying something, it's thought of your thought. And he goes, so they questioned the big Facebook executive, and he goes, why does it do that? You must be listening to us. There must be recording devices, there must be this. So he goes, no, he goes, you can find all of our devices, we list them. He goes, what that is that Facebook has developed such an incredibly powerful AI that actually it's doing this, and we don't actually have an explanation for this. But that is how it works. So it's so strong it can guess what you're not like guess what you're going to be thinking, but it knows. It knows you so well, more than Facebook can even gather the data for. So they don't even understand.
That's why we sometimes try to think about something and then we see that ad.
No, we see it.
Because we thought about a trip to Bali, baby, and we linked up with something of searching on something, and it quickly. Then I'm like, did I search shit? I only had the thought in my brain. Because I remember I only had the thought in the brain. I would not even remember that I kind of browsed or something or checked a friend's profile which I saw the Bali, and it linked up and say, okay, I should show Bali right now to this guy, Bali trip. So that's where the world we are moving, and we started with an interesting topic actually about AI tools and writer tools, and we evolved to a pretty interesting podcast, and that's what's good about like having a team and doing the podcast with the SeekaHost
No,
team.
I think the ethical question of AI will be a big thing in the future, and lots of governments, and there will probably have to be some kind of internet police in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's already, it's like the Wild West.
How would you control something so uncontrollable?
Yeah, it's very difficult. But I think from a writer's perspective or content creator's perspective, the copyright aspect again, I think will also be a big thing.
Yeah, a lot of copyright suiting with kind of lawyers are going to have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Is that because it's scraping the information
No,
from
it's
other
not the
people's
scraping.
things?
It says it's not scraping, but like people will sue really. Like I think mostly with the images and those
And
things,
also-
unless even if you use a thing and write me an article about one particular company, and if exactly it kind of got that company's website's content and came across and you publish this on article, somebody will say you copy, which happens even if you use a human writer. So you use a human writer literally copied and looked and wrote about that thing.
as well.
Owner of the content could say like, this is my quotes, this is my words.
Yeah.
So AI or human, that's of course going to be there.
Yeah,
you know, so
no, I mean, I think the copyright will span lots of different aspects, and I think what I saw was the other day that some people now, because with these AI tools, some of them develop like, I guess, avatars that speak, and they need to use human voices for that.
Of course,
And some people recognize their voice being used, and to them that's like stealing their identity.
That's
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
that has to be going to
Or
legal
part
stuff
of their
now.
face, you know,
Yeah.
might have
Yeah.
chosen a nice looking nose from
Yeah.
somebody's face to use. I'd never thought about that.
So that could be, a difficult area for a lot of people, because if you feel that somebody's stealing your voice and using it for, I don't know, whatever purposes,
Yeah.
then that can be another difficult legal
Absolutely.
battle, I guess.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
We will cover more about AI in the SeekaHost podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the SeekaHost podcast. And James and me, we're going to bring interesting people as well as our team members from SeekaHost for the future podcast. We're back in the next video.